Hi guys, Jen here with Astrology and Earth Magic. So, putting this video out a couple days early. This is about the very active new moon in Aries that's coming up on Friday, but we have a lot of buildup before then, and that starts tomorrow. So we wanted to get that out before that so we know what to prepare for. So this new moon is going to be, like I said, the sign of Aries on Friday at 21 degrees and 28 minutes. 7:51 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is going to be at its newest phase. So this Aries energy is fiery, and it will just take us through emotional highs and emotional lows. And this is due to a large stellium of planets we have at the beginning and at the ending degrees of the sign of Aries. So the normal new moon kind of emotions will be amplified because of everything else that's in there, adding a little bit of nuance to it. So starting tomorrow, Wednesday, as the new moon moves in, as the moon moves into Aries, it will begin a series of conjunctions. Ooh, giant branch just fell. It's pretty windy out today. Hopefully we don't get a storm on us. So we'll just hope for the best. So anyway, it's going to, once it moves into Aries, it's going to hit the first group of planets and that first stellium, conjuncting Mercury at 0 degrees tomorrow. And then a couple hours later, it will make a conjunction to Neptune, and then followed by a conjunction to Mars after that, a quick sextile to Pluto, and then ending the day with a conjunction to Saturn. So yeah, it's going to pretty much be conjunct to all those planets just a few hours time, just during the day. If you already have a lot going on in Aries, if you have angles, if you have luminaries, planets in there, you will feel this. It will be impactful. But I think with so much activity going on in the sign of Aries, I think it's going to be felt across the board. So everybody, either it's going to affect you emotionally and the way that you react to things, or it's that you're going to be taking the brunt. So you'll know and feel that if it's somebody else is going through a lot of emotions and a lot of this energy. So you, like I said, with any new moon, you could be overly emotional. Quick though, because in Aries, you're quick to fly off the handle. So, you could get mad easily. You could voice an unwanted opinion or an unsolicited opinion that could kind of piss somebody else off as well. And that could get you a lot of pushback and a lot of aggression back and forth. And at the end of the day, you might be feeling a little bit of regret. Once Saturn comes along, you might be regretting kind of, putting it out there and, getting into these little tussles that you might, and maybe voicing things that don't necessarily need to be voiced. Maybe you'll feel insecure about those ramifications of those actions. You might feel kind of like alone in Siberia, like I'm just out here and now I'm just sitting out like, ugh, why did I do that? Or if somebody did the same to you and then you have that pushback back. Or maybe, you might be just alone because you're sleeping alone, because if this is with a partner, maybe it instigated an argument. So just a little heads up, tomorrow might be an emotional day. This is Wednesday, the 15th. So on Friday, it can bring a new start. We have a little, as the moon continues to move through Aries, has a little dullness on Wednesday. So a little bit of ease, or on Thursday, and then on Friday we get kind of that new energy as it starts gaining its conjunction to the sun and starting that new moon phase. But again, not without a lot of drama. So that added drama is going to be first because the moon is going to conjunct Eris, and then it's going to conjunct Chiron, which encourages healing, but not after some strife. So Eris is that sign of chaos, that brings chaos, because you want to be included. So you could feel like you're on the outside, and you could feel like I want to bring attention to myself. So there could be some strife in there added in. A new moon in Aries plants those new seeds, those seeds of independence, of oneness, and really pursuing your passions wholeheartedly, putting your all into it, and just without care, just ready to put in the work and start getting at it. But with so many planets in this cardinal fire, the added nuance that they're going to be kind of blending in will come with a lot of restless energy. So a lot of, feeling like you just have to go, 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 go. And you might be hitting a lot of road bumps along the way. Neptune is in there, and that is that fantastical visionary and can act on blind faith alone. So it's like, I'm not thinking about this. I have this dream, and I have a dream, and I'm just going to go and do it. With Mars and Eris also, we have that rebellious, like, I don't give a fuck kind of attitude. We see one way forward, and that is to fight. These are two aggressive planets. So, fight for what you believe in, fight for freedom, and a fight for a better life, and a fight for your rights and your authenticity, which is really key here, is that non-conforming comes up. And instead of just doing and going along with what everybody else wants to do, you're kind of being a non-conformist, and you want to be yourself, kind of stand out as who you are and not kind of be put in the background. So, and that can lead to just like some inner chaos because you want something. You feel like you need to do this, and kind of like this passion that's just driving you forward. So Saturn will try to keep you under control, but being patient and tolerant can be extremely frustrating when you're in the sign of Aries. So Saturn is forming a semi-sextile to the North Node. So that shows like little annoyances, you could say. Just when you think things are going well and beginning to progress, something comes up that is just, like I said, like a little annoyance that, once you deal with it, it's helpful. And it's, something just quick and easy, but it's just like, oh, what now? Something still annoying nonetheless. Mars is forming a sextile to Pluto. We got our little fairy watching. I hope it brings good luck and it's not a mischievous little fairy coming through the trees right up here. I'm sure you can hear Pickle in the background meowing his brains out. So maybe he senses a little fairy. So Mars is forming a sextile to Pluto. So you're deeply passionate about your intentions, that things that are going on right now. And these annoyances can have you just popping off like, a tantrumy child almost. I want is kind of that mantra for everything that's going on, especially in the sign of Aries. I want, and I am going to do it. Saturn's discipline approach will help you stay focused, not wanting to just give up, because there could come a time where you feel like I'm just going to throw my hands up and I'm going to be done. But Saturn will help you stay focused and stay on point. The cardinal energy that we have, so much cardinal energy going on, because we even have Jupiter over there in the sign of Cancer, which is another cardinal sign. So there's so much cardinal energy. So cardinal energy loves to start new things, and so with so many cardinal planets, it's really wanting to get things started, not wanting to wait, not wanting to be held back, wanting to just get going on it. But so much cardinal energy, actually finishing these things is not always the strong point going on. So that's why you want to use that Saturn, so you can do a follow through, so you can keep plugging along and not just start a million different things and then not finish anything. So we have Mercury followed by Mars that are closing in on that conjunction with Neptune. So this is in the beginning of, as we're growing, as the moon is also working through Aries. So the Mercury followed by Mars are closing in on that conjunction with Neptune. So a troubled and confused mind could again be what's some of the issues that could come up. So this could be paranoid thoughts, delusional thoughts, even maybe some blame games coming up, like he said, she said type thing, but also could illuminate hidden agendas. You kind of find out things from other people maybe that you're working with that maybe isn't really where you're going with something, and it's kind of throwing a wrench into what you're trying to do, and really kind of will piss you off a little bit, and you're just like, oh, so that was your thought about all this. Now I see. So this is what could cause some of this strife, because you're finding out things. Mercury's trying to illuminate what's in Neptune. It's trying to bring things out, but still things are very cloudy. And then Mars is that, trying to, find their way through kind of the fog, and trying to get going and trying to find your way, but feeling like you're a little bit lost along the way, because you just don't see what's on the other side. We're also, it's this deception. We could feel that we've been deceived, and we're getting tired of being deceived, and we want to know the truth. And then it can also be tired of being kept in the dark. It's getting frustrating to not know the whole truth about things, and to hear half truths and half lies, and oh, I only found this out, and so you don't know exactly what's going on. And I think we feel this a lot as a collective, that we're only hearing certain things and we're not hearing everything. And of course that is the way with news, but you have to, they tell you what they want you to know, and not what everything else. So as a collective, I think that a lot of us are going through that we're just feeling very confused. It could be about the war that's going on, that we're just so unsure, and like, this doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem like we're getting all the information here. I think a lot of us are going to be feeling that, and that's going to continue on. So for instance, we just heard that news come out about the Representative Swalwell, who was running for governor in California, and that he had all these women saying that he sexually harassed them, even one said he raped her. And then all of a sudden you're hearing all these people, like reporters and everything, saying, oh, we knew that. We knew something about him was off. We knew that he was shady. Okay, so why is this the first time we're hearing about it? Why was this never brought to light before? So when we find these things out, it almost feels like we're a little bit betrayed, because, and this could be just in our personal life, so I'm just using that as an example, but, it feels like we were betrayed because we're not having people being fully open with us. They're withholding information, so it might not be exact lies, but it's withholding of information, which is kind of a mistruth in of itself, because it's not telling you everything you need to know. So this can also, this can be a recurring theme as the moon waxes, as things are kept hidden, as Mercury and Mars form their conjunctions to Neptune. Things are going to start coming out a little bit, and more, I think, as we move through this whole year, more and more things get illuminated. And at first you think it's just going to be these Epstein files, but then something else comes out, and then something else, and then something else, and it just seems like so many things are just kind of being illuminated, and we're learning about things that, well, why didn't we know this before? We feel like we've been deceived. So this could cause anger. It can cause, that strife. It can cause us to act out because we feel like we're being left out. And this could be in a personal way too, or even at work or something where you just feel like you're kind of left out and you're not being included. And so with both Mars and Mercury conjuncting Saturn on the 19th and 20th, we realize just what we're fighting for and who we truly are fighting against. And again, this could be on a collective scale or on a personal scale. Saturn just brings that karma. So these things, like with that Swalwell, for instance, or whatever else could be going on in your life, this is when kind of that karma comes back and everybody starts turning their back. So we already saw that he stepped down from his position. He stopped running for governor. So I already see some ramifications coming, and I would expect more things to start coming out, because this is kind of that, like, okay, we're not going to take it anymore. So we're going to start telling the truth. So one of the main takeaways from this Aries new moon, I feel, is this conjunction with Eris and Chiron. And it's that it can be highly transformative energy when it can really work. Once you really work through the difficulties that it's going to come up with, it can really be beneficial to you moving forward. Eris is about confrontation and conflict. It's not wanting to be kept on the outside. Again, it's demanding to be recognized and respected. And first, you're going to have to heal from within, because you're never going to get that recognition or respect if you're not fully healed, if you're not confident in yourself, and if you're insecure at all. We need to confront those old wounds and those things that are holding us back and making us feel insecure, the things that bring us down and just kind of give us a little lack of confidence of doing things, because we feel like we might fail. So this is the things we have to face. Take this time to just rediscover yourself, to, while using all, you're going to have a lot of pent-up aggression and pent-up energy, and you're going to want to get out. What I love to do is I love to take a walk or a hike in nature, like here, or on a run, and take a run and just go aimless and just, I'm just going to try and get lost today. I mean, if you're in a huge woods, don't go doing something like that. Stay somewhere safe and somewhere very familiar. But just like, I'm just going to go aimlessly today and just let my mind and my intuition just guide me as I just mentally plot my path forward, as I just aimlessly walk along, run along, and hike along, and get rid of this pent-up energy. Or even, this could be on a treadmill, where you just zone out and just think and really start carving your path forward. You want to be able to release that negativity that you have built up, release that self-doubt that you have, and don't let it get the better of you. You'll discover that new path forward, and you'll discover where you need to go. Use the sources of those past traumas. Use those things that have always bothered you and held you back, but use them as a source of strength, because you've got through them. This is what makes you grow as a person. Bad relationships, bad different things, bad jobs that you've gone through, bad bosses, bad coworkers, any negative influence that you might have had, bad parents that makes you a better parent, that makes you a better, bad relationships could make you a better lover, a better partner. Bad coworkers could make you a better coworker. You learn from these things, and this is how you grow as a person. So you wear these things like a badge of honor, and you want to just, this can be your power. This can be your authenticity, because nobody else has been through the same things that you've been through. So you want to just use these learned things that you've gone through to grow and form yourself, and just to be confident that you went through them and you survived them. So again, wear it like a badge of honor. This can be the way you reinvent yourself, to grow into the new you, to show it to the world, grow it as the light begins to grow, the moonlight begins to grow to its fuller state. As a collective, society as of late has really succumbed to this dissonance, and it's like people need to rediscover who they are. I think we need to do this as a society, and I think face those old wounds, face the aggressions back and forth, the fighting, the I don't like you because you voted for this person, I don't like you because you do this, or you worship in this way, or so it's finding maybe being a little bit more open-minded. As a people, we need to just rediscover who we are as a people. Are we these mean, small-minded people with narrow visions, or do we want to just kind of embrace everybody, embrace the differences in people. You want to, again, let's face those old wounds as a collective and find what went wrong. Repent also for the hurt you may have caused others. That's where the karma comes in. And, you know, Saturn being right in the middle of this with that conjunction to Mars and Mercury is really, you want to kind of clear your slate, almost do like the 12-step program. Is kind of asking for forgiveness and apologizing for the things that, you know, you might have done wrong. Even, you know, because a lot of people, they'll just make nasty comments online and they think it's okay because no one knows who it is, but you still did it and somebody knows that you did it. So you want to repent for any hurt you may have caused people, because it's just not nice, you know? So Eris, again, creates conflict. And until we really open our eyes and see what is truly happening, we will continue to get swept up into this conflict. It's really pitting people against each other because of it, because we're kind of going along with the crowd instead of kind of thinking on our own. And until we become individualized with that Aries energy, become that individual, be yourself, be independent, and then you can kind of resist being drawn into those negative thoughts, those negative feelings. So another example for you. So at my old job, we would have these daily bitch sessions first thing in the morning, and we'd get to work and a few of us would just be, you know, this and, you know, about bitching about bosses, coworkers, just about anything that, you know, even clients that we had. And it really just kind of starts your day off on a negative foot. And it really just kind of frames your day. It's like, okay, so we're going to start it off negative. So we're going to be angry because we start off angry and saying things that are bothering us. And then this one says something that's bothering them. And then, okay, now that bothers me too. And I can't believe they did that. So you're kind of bouncing all this against each other. So you could have got to work in a great mood, for instance, but then all this negativity kind of eats at you all day and you're just like, oh, I can't believe that. Oh my God, I can't believe that. And you get home and then you bring that home to your spouse or your parents or your siblings, whatever, and roommates, and just say, oh, you'll never believe this. So you get home and you bring that negativity there. So you see how all this, it's like a sickness almost that you're spreading around because you're focused on the not positives, you're focused on the negatives. And this is what's really happening in the world today, especially, you know, if you do watch the news, you're hearing like, oh, this one, talking bad about this one. And then, you know, oh, the orange man bad. Oh no, these Democrats are bad. Oh, all this is bad. So you're hearing this is like, oh, it must be true. They must really be bad. So I'm starting to think that they're bad. And oh my God, I can't believe they did that. So it's the same thing that we have going on personally and as a collective, really. And unfortunately, it's like a forest fire, like a sickness, an illness. But like, you know, in the sign of Aries, it's like a forest fire that will continue to grow and rage out of control and just destroying things along the way. Conflicts around the world are going to be ramping up. So we can expect that. And again, we're maybe not going to know the whole truth about everything, but that's what happens when you're at war. You're not going to know the truth. So we are going to feel a little bit, you know, kind of lost, a little bit like left out in the dark. You know, they should be telling us this. So this is going to be going on. And of course, it's going to be getting intensified. We see this is not going away anytime soon. So these literal fires, so this Aries fires are going to be literal from bombings, from attacks that are going on. And yes, because of so much Aries, we can, you know, also see natural fires. So we could see wildfires popping up. You know, a lot of them don't start naturally, but things happen. And then they start raging out of control and just eating away at, you know, acres and acres of land, and it can seem impossible to heal from it all. And this could be just you look at it like that, or you can look at it on your inside, where that fire is raging within you, eating away at everything and just killing you inside, so that you can't grow from it. So everything is stifled and everything's burned, and you can't continue to grow, you can't continue to flourish because of all these bad thoughts, this bad negativity that's like just, a wildfire going on within you. But it can seem impossible to heal, but we will. Jupiter in Cancer is sextile to Venus and Uranus in the sign of Taurus. So through this chaos, we will eventually find love and acceptance and unity. And history of Uranus in Gemini and Jupiter in Cancer, it teaches us that though it begins with conflict, and our current conflict will try to destroy everything in its path. It will try and separate us, and it will try, it will hurt people, and people will be hurt, be killed in it. But ultimately, as this will continue until this change ultimately brings this understanding and peace and unity. So we see in the past with these every, Gemini and Uranus in Gemini, we see every major war that the U.S. has ever been in. But we end up coming together. We end up unifying. We end up building the United States. That's what the United States was founded on. Also coming out of the Civil War and reuniting from that. Also building the United Nations after World War II. So it's building unity after times of conflict and after times of strife. So you just have to keep going, and you want to have faith moving forward. And again, don't let those wildfires of negativity burn the inside of you and take you down along with it. You want to just keep being positive. And if you feel that fire, that inner fire, again, get out, go for a walk, burn off that energy, whatever it is that you like to do to burn off that fire, to get that energy out and put your mind at peace. Do it, because it will make you feel better. And ultimately this will lead to just a total transformation for everybody, and it is coming, you guys. I know it's so hard to see. It seems like everything is just going to be destroyed, but everything is going to end up working out. We have that the outer planets are all making good aspects to each other. We have sextiles and trines that are working together, and it is going to take time, but they are promising that there is goodness on the horizon. We just have to keep the faith and keep plugging through. So I'm sorry that this video had to be so negative, but things are going to be rough for a while, and we have to just face it. I don't want to be all like, oh, it's going to be blissful and nice and happy. Things are going to be rough, and things are going to continue to be rough for a little while, and it could be all the way through at least the beginning of the summer. I think things are going to be tough. So do what you can, again, to keep yourself safe mentally and physically. With all this aggression going on, you want to be safe physically. You want to stay out of harm's way, and kind of be aware of your surroundings as well. Don't let that Neptune kind of murk you up so that you don't know. If you're at a place that you're not familiar with, you want to find the exits. You want to be proactive. So be that Mars conjunct Neptune and try to clear that. Try to find your way through. You don't want to be lost in a burning building without being able to see the exit sign. You want to have a way out of a bad situation. So keep your head about yourself, keep yourself safe. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video, even though it wasn't the most positive thing in the whole world. But please, if you did, subscribe and hit the like button. It really helps the channel to grow, and I appreciate every single like, every single subscription, every view that you guys give me. And it's a blessing that you guys check in from week to week and see what's going on. Also, please leave a comment of what your fears are, what you're excited for, what are you looking forward to, and how do you think this is going to affect you. Maybe you're an Aries and you just love all this energy and you're just excited to just get things going. So if that is the way you feel, let me know in the comments. And I just hope you all have a very safe and happy week and new moon, and let's grow and let's unite together with this new moon and stop the division and come together instead of dividing. So let's go forth with keeping some peace in our minds, positivity in our words that will spread from ear to ear, and love in our hearts that we can also just keep us motivated to spread that love, spread that positivity. And I will see you all soon. Bye.